Wolves and the Lowland Lions. It's players with known histories, known performances. And while we're waffling, we are into the picks and bans. And immediately, Rengar removed from the game, banned out. Anivia in reply, no one's just surprised by that. No. And Cho'Gath taking that away from Snoopy. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, CLG are banning it. Snoopy is banning that Cho'Gath. He is a very strong jungler at the moment. Not so much, obviously, he was one of Hotshot's favourite top laners forever earlier on when he was first in the top lane before all the switches. But he's come back in the jungle in recent months, and he is obviously ban-worthy as far as CLG are concerned. And Giants, well, they're not really surprising us too much with anything across the board yet. Last ban, maybe we're going to see Jax, maybe we'll see Lee Sin, something else maybe. Well, Kassadin actually being banned out. You were telling me earlier in the week that Giants are pretty well known for the Kassadin play. They've apparently got some secret hidden Kassadin strategy lined up. Exactly what it consists of and exactly how strong it is, I don't know. I got a better question. How good is the secret if you know about it? Yeah, there's that. So, yeah, perhaps that's CLG strategy. So, okay, we can't think of a third ban. There's nothing we particularly fear from these guys, but we've heard rumors. Well, if it's all based around one champion, get rid of that one champion. Job done. And with the first pick, Blitzcrank, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that bottom lane quite a bit. Creepo, we saw a Lone Star clash. We ran through a top 5 plays of that not so long ago. And there were 3 plays in CLG's highlight list, and they were all initiated by Creepo landing grabs. Yeah. So, yeah, you give him that Blitzcrank, Giants have got to watch out. Ooh, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. Hovering over Elise at the moment. I'm not going to give into it. I think this is a bait. But while CLG are deciding on which 2 champions they're actually going to lock in, Amumu and Ezreal over on the Giants side. So we've locked in that sort of hyper carry, if you can call him that, Ezreal. You know, not necessarily late game, but just the preferred AD of the moment. And we're seeing a lot more Amumu play. You know, since the sort of Season 2 Worlds and the last month and a half, Amumu in the jungle is becoming more and more common. And if, you know, Giants can land those bandage tosses in the early game, it's going to lead to some good lane ganks and some good kills. Yeah, and on top of that, it takes away from Snoopy. Yeah. Snoopy, the pro player picks that Riot are doing, his pick, Amumu. He is favourite for that champion. He loves that guy. He has got Maokai up his sleeve, and that's what he's picked instead. And alongside that, Froggen's grabbed Corki for yellow P. So that's the bottom lane for CLG. Blitzcrank, Corki. It's a lot of early burst damage, a lot of early presence as well. And, well, the Giants picks, they've got that Ezreal head, which works very well against Blitzcrank. If you start casting that Arcane Shift before the grab lands, it will always complete, so you're not going to get grabbed in. But that one time you slip up, it's going to be very, very painful. If they do pick this Lulu to go alongside it, it's not so bad. If you get grabbed in, you're going to get knocked up, yes, but she can land that wild growth on you, give you a massive amount of health back, and knock up both of the CLG pairing. So it gives you that chance to not only Arcane Shift and escape, but do some return damage as well. Yeah, it's also quite nice. The Glitter Lance is going to allow her to throw that out onto Blitzcrank, prevent him getting in range to land the Power Fist or something similar. But, like you mentioned, if you get grabbed, you're going to get blown out, especially when you consider that we're going to have Corki in the bottom lane. You know, those phosphorus bombs at low level hit like a truck. The damage is absolutely insane. And we actually see an Olaf being locked in. So Olaf up in the top lane is going to be a little bit interesting, and we'll have to see how that one plays out. You know, Olaf, this early on, I say early on, it's a second to last pick, but CLG, it allows them to pick up some counters. They've got plenty of options, although Giants themselves have banned out a couple that are there. I mean, Wicked calls himself the best top laner in the world. A lot of people would agree. Yep. Some of the other top laners wouldn't quite so much, naturally. But if he truly is, can he take on this Olaf? It does also open up another option here for Giants. They haven't got a set at the moment, but they can still switch these things around. If you run Ghost Teleport, we've seen very often on an Olaf on the purple side, grab those wolves, grab those blue buffs at level 1, hit level 2, base, recall, teleport down into the bottom lane, 2v1. Yep. Can he do it? Can he pull it off against the Blitzcrank? And the synergy that Olaf offers, especially with the Lulu, you know, wild growth, the additional HP it's going to have with his damage, to help with the reckless swings. The Ragnarok goes on, he cannot be CC, cannot be slowed. He's going to run through absolutely everybody, knock them all up with wild growth, set them up for a Curse of the Sad Mummy or something similar. But I love what I'm seeing on the flip side. A Shen and a Lux being locked in. We've seen Shushay playing Lux to amazing effect earlier in the week on Monday. You know, just landing every single light binding, really, really great burst. And at max level with his full build, his cooldowns were down to about 23, 24 seconds on that final spark. Yep, once you hit 16, once you've got that 40% cooldown reduction, final spark, 24, 23 second cooldown. And at the point Zusha had it was about 900 damage. Yeah. And when you've got a minion wave coming in every 30 seconds, you can start sieging turrets and immediately just knock 900 health of everyone. Yeah. Did we go in? Did it hit enough people? No. Okay, next minion wave. Do it again. So We'll wait and see exactly how that shapes up and what, for that matter, the Giants decide to play against it. They're currently hovering over the possibility of an Orianna. Do they go with it? Well, they have. They've locked it straight in. So Extra is going to go with that. Extra, he's not one of your most famous AP mids in the world. Obviously, he's not your Froggins. He's not your Toys. But especially amongst Europe and especially amongst the lesser-known teams, he has quite a reputation. The guy's got some skill up his sleeve. He's got a lot of strong champions under his belt. And Orianna being a strong champion for the whole of the league at the moment, I'm impressed to see what he can pull out here.
Yeah, and like you said, they've qualified for what was it, IEM Cologne, knocking Curse out twice. As you said in the pre-show, they've got the ability to beat the big name teams. Curse, of course, that was after the victory at Tales of the Lane.
Yes, exactly. So they've come back from that with a big high. We just run this. Currently, maybe one of the strongest in Europe. After everyone's knocked them down, Giants are
exactly. Now, let's take a look. Once again, we've looked at all the combinations, we've looked at all the champions. What does CLG have up their sleeve? They've got a much more skirmish-based roster, skirmish-based lineup. Shen, if he does get in, he can tank. Of course, Maokai can offer some damage mitigation, but Lux and Corki, they don't really want to be in the thick of it quite so much as Ezreal, Olaf, Amumu, and even Orianna. She has to get in relatively close range to land those command attacks and to get the distortion and shockwave and all that going. What happens if CLG get caught in a big 5v5?
CLG get caught. Well, immediately Yellow Pete's going to cleanse and Valkyrie back, as simple as that. But the whole time he's doing that, he's going to have Samux with that Ragnarok locked onto him. He's going to pop Ghost and he's going to run straight at that Corki and hopefully stick on him. He's going to have perhaps a Phage or a Frozen Mallet or some other way to slow that Corki. And if he can do the damage, if he can get through him in time, yeah, there goes the AD carry from CLG. If that is not possible, Corki's going to sit there for the whole time doing a whole lot of damage to first Olaf. Then once Olaf falls, before that Ragnarok runs out, he's just going to switch back in and start working his way through the Giants lineup. So we'll see if they can pull that off, but the Amumu-Olaf combo is very, very strong. Yeah,
and add to that the Lulu as well. Amumu, Olaf, Lulu combination altogether. So we're into quite possibly the most important part of the game. It is the skin war, and you have to give it to Giants. This is a hands-down stomping as far as skins are concerned. And when every single skin is available, I'm disappointed by CLG. I'm disappointed. So let's see. Loading screens are up. We're about to jump into this, the very first game of the Dreamhack Winter tournament. And yeah, it's going to be up to the players now to make the plays. Giants, they have to either stand up and stand tall here and take the first game of this group stage, or run the risk of going 1-2 or 2-1 against the BYOC and Team Acer.
Yep, so without further ado, Dreamhack Winter League of Legends is underway. The crowd is filling up here at the moment, and hopefully we've got plenty more seats for the rest of the event, the rest of the day. Now, I must admit, I'm currently on the camera. If anything's missed, it's on me. I'm going to take that right now, but I'm feeling a little bit confident with it. This is all set up smooth. And level 1, what are we looking at? We've got some fairly interesting possibilities from both squads, especially with the Blitzcrank involved here from CLG. But looks like we're going to have a fairly quiet first minute and a half, and CLG could possibly, in actual fact, be late invading the Giants' blue buff, which with Maokai is a bit of a surprise. He's a jungler that really relies on getting a blue, on getting that early start, getting his comfortable Wraith's blue, then go into a red. So if you're going to mix things up like this, they might take some Giants by surprise.
Yeah, the flip side as well is that Amumu relies on that blue buff, if not more than Maokai. Both champions are so dependent on it. But look at the positioning here from Giants. Constantly moving, constantly waving around the map, making sure they don't get caught by skill shots. But Olaf and Amumu at the top lane, they might be considering a blue buff steal of their own. All 5 members of CLG, they've snuck into this bottom bush. Late blue invade, looking for first blood. Is that a ward up there? Yeah, we go. You can see that CLG have warded their own blue. And it's just a very, very slow, very, very safe and calculated start from both teams. Nobody wants to give up more than they need to this early in the game. And there's a lot of money on the line. I mean, it's $50,000 in total, for the total prize pool.
CLG almost hiding in that bush the entire time. Giants seemed a bit tentative about going down there, but they have now spotted them as they're making their way out. Froggen lands a bind through the bush, but it will not hit anyone. Wards from both teams in there, so Giants can see exactly who's here for CLG, and they know it's 4v4. They're comfortable with the fact Wicked has gone to the top lane, but Morden's already pretty low health as he did start on that wolf camp. Now we see Giants coming in, but better landing some damage on the creeper, but he's going to get grabbed. Is it the follow-up? There's the snare comes in from Luck, but better take down very low with the Ignite ticket. Nibby flashes forward for the first blood.
CLG is on the board. Really, really nice combination of play there. The rest of Giants, they just didn't react quickly enough. Babetta flashed as quickly as he could, but there's too much damage for players up in the top lane. Samuks and Wicked going toe-to-toe. That looked like an Ignite going down into Samuks. So Wicked managing to force the flash, and Samuks already starting to imply some dominance in that top lane.
Now here's the problem. Yes, Snoopy got first blood. Yes, CLG are in here, but they need this blue buff on Maokai. He'd be so far behind if they left, so they've had to spend a lot of time in here to try and take this, and they've taken a lot of damage in doing so. Snoopy does finally get out though with that smite, with that first blood, and now has it on his person. Morden though, just as far behind. He only had the wolf cap. He's going to be a little bit back on XP, and so are your bottom and your middle lanes. So, providing top lane doesn't snowball too far away, which at the moment is going very much in Samuks' favour, those other lanes should stay quite low.
Down in the bottom lane, Blitzcrank managing to get caught from another rocket grab from Crepo. Continues with the auto attacks. Phosphorus bombs are out. Blitzcrank down to about 70 HP, and he gets to safety. But this early pressure in the jungle in the bottom lane, heavily in favor of CLG, and Samuks 9 singers to 5, but the thing is, Wicked can now safely farm under the tower. He's going to use his passive. Now on the bottom lane, Blitzcrank, is he going to get caught again? Rocket Grab manages to land. Power Fist not available yet because Blitzcrank is only level 1. But Blitzcrank Arcane shifts, and he used his flash to safety there as well. Aggressive from Yellow Pete. Valkyrie in one more auto attack, and they definitely want to stomp home this bottom lane control.
CLG are completely bullying Giants now backwards and forwards. People essentially walking straight up to Blitz for that. It's giving Snoopy a little bit of freedom. He is around to the top side now. He picked up his left his own blue buff actually, and he's coming around behind Exeter, just toying with him. He's got that knockback for the Arcane Smash and his snare waiting, but Exeter's not quite far enough down the lane yet. We're going to try and bait him in, but it doesn't look like he's going to fall for it. Still waiting. He can afford to use this extra time here because he's got that extra blue buff in his base. He's got that experience. So the more time he wastes here, the more XP he loses by standing here in the mid lane. He can make it back up again. Morden, on the other hand, has to keep going through his jungle on this movement. Has to get every little bit of XP he can to try and catch up with Snoopy.
Yeah, and take a look at the play already. After this first recall on Morden, he's picked up an additional sight ward, so that's going to go in his own jungle, or at least in a very near to a river entrance. He's terrified of the invades, that low-level start. The fact that he doesn't have blue, he's not going to be able to keep the despair or those tantrums running, means it's going to slow him down so exponentially at the beginning of this game, and it delays that extreme power that they get from the combination of all their ultimates, the Sad Mummy, the Ragnarok, the Wild Growth, etc. Snoopy now, he's picked up his own blue buff. You can see the icon is missing there on the bottom lane, and he's now starting to clear out his own jungle, collect some more gold, and probably work his way towards his first GP10 item.
Yeah, he's carrying on the rest of the jungle, though half of it is missing again. Froggen started very early taking the Wraith camp away. So we should expect to see him doing that more and more throughout the course of the game, getting that little champion or minion kill, the CS score up as high as he possibly can. And he's already 10 up above Exeter in that mid lane. Lux doing very well against the Orianna. Babetta forced to back away with the AD carry in the bottom lane. And with, in actual fact, Ezreal having a slight CS lead, he's going to buy some Doran's Blade and a ward of his own. Pete, though, he has a large group of creeps here, a large wave of minions waiting ready for him. So once he's picked these all up, he should be back ahead and in the lead. In actual fact, the way Creepo's looking, they want to freeze it and hold it where it is.
And they're doing a fantastic job at freezing this lane, holding it completely on their side, keeping it safe. Now, Snoopy may have found himself an opening. He's moving into this middle lane, starting to step forward. If he lands the Twisted Advance, he is going to get it. Arcane Smash, Doc, the Light Binding holds him in place. Continued damage, Ignite is ticking away. One more auto attack from Froggen picks up the second kill of the game. And it was slow, it was calculated. It was really well played, and every single ability landed. Even, Snoopy's positional play. After he lands the Twisted Advance, steps around behind, knocks the smash, and even pushes, Exeter even further forward, closer to Lux. So great play from CLG.
Yeah, too many times have I seen Maokai's coming in, using that Arcane Smash, and knocking someone sideways away from a skill shot. Snoopy made sure he stayed lined up, and he pushed him directly back towards Froggen's skill shot as it was coming in. There was no way that was going to miss. Lined up perfectly. But it does take CLG 2-0 and spreads the gold out across the pair of them. They are over 1.3k gold now ahead of the Giants, and this lead is slowly stretching. How is top lane shaping up? We obviously saw Samuks getting very aggressive to start with. There's a flash grab comes out from Creep in the bottom lane. The Arcane Shift goes out and gets Bliss from distance, but Snoopy's coming down flash forward. There's the snare goes down with that Arcane Smash. Snoopy picks up the second kill.
Yeah, once again, so well played. Great combination of abilities. I think Crepo has landed almost every single one of his rocket grabs right now, and it's definitely the ones that count. Can he do it again? Overdrive is up, he's running. Rocket grab goes out. Babetta gently sidesteps it to the right, and then, mitigate giving away any more kills. But every single time Crepo's needed to step up with those rocket grabs, he has landed them. And if he continues to do that over the next 5 or 10 minutes, it's going to give CLG that heavy snowball start, and it's going to secure them the victory.
Yeah, as I was saying, Wicked to Samex, very even in CS, 39 to 37, despite Samex getting so aggressive onto Wicked to start with. But it's Shen, he's got that feint to block the damage, he's got that Vorpal Blade to regen some health as he goes, and he's even taking a couple of turret shots here and not really worrying too much about it. Let's have a look at Morden, level 4, still a long way down in his jungle, but this camp should give him 5. Needs to get level 6 before he can make any real impact. Of course, Maokai has much stronger early gank potential from him, and he's really put that to good use. But as the 7-minute mark approaches, they know, of course, when that blue was killed, they were there for it. Snoopy stole it. He's going to plant another ward in there, and then base possibly come back to try and steal it shortly.
Well, this is something else to consider that, we didn't touch on at the beginning, but with the Blitzcrank, on the CLG roster, obviously he's going to be looking to pull the squishy targets. He wants to grab Ezreal, he wants to grab Orianna. What happens in the event that he picks up an Amumu or an Olaf? All of a sudden, Giants have been able to initiate without blowing a flash, without blowing any of their ultimates or abilities. They can be in the thick of the CLG roster. So that rocket grab could potentially backfire if they snare the wrong player later on.
Look at Froggen. There it is. They had that ward. You could see him moving from the mid lane, lining it up and waiting. Snipes away that blue buff using the laser. Extra, which was not in a position where he could leave the lane to come and get himself, so Amumu had to hold it, and he held it, and he kept holding it. And in the end, it was just too long. Froggen came in there, took that away, allowing Snoopy to pick up the next one from his own jungle, which will speed his jungle speed up again even more. So it's really, really big for CLG.
Yeah, great play there. And also, great understanding of the damage, knowing exactly how much that final smart going to deal, timing it perfectly. And, 2 blue buffs, both of which have been picked up by CLG. Red buff still sitting on the side of the Giants. I don't know if that first one has been picked up yet. Wicked and Samus trading just a little bit, but Amumu really needs that blue buff to continue farming effectively and clearing all the camps as quick as is possible. Top lane is still poking back and forth. Wicked is feeling a little bit of pressure, but it's not affecting his farm, and that's the key. It doesn't matter how much Samus is bullying Wicked around, he's still going to have the same gold, he's still going to have the same items, and in actual fact, he will have more because he has a Heart of Gold ticking away. The longer this stays even, the further Wicked's going to creep into the lead, creep into that advantageous position. We haven't even seen the Stand United yet. The ultimate is available there, so the moment something goes wrong for CLG, Wicked's just going to throw that ultimate onto whoever it is that gets caught out and secure himself, counter gank effectively.
Morden just hit 6. He now has that Bandage Shots Curse of the Sad Mummy combination. I want to see him make some kind of impact with this now. He's immediately heading up towards the top lane. There isn't any ward here for CLG, but Wicked is back under his own turret and seemingly safe. Snoopy just grabbed his blue buff, so he's in a nearby position, but Morden is actually in fact changing around, rotating towards mid. Still no ward here for Froggen, and he's actually very pushed up. Nexter's toying with him, waiting, does catch a snare. Froggen going to come forward, this pop his full combo out, doesn't do too much damage, but it does put Extra in a position where he cannot join Morden for this gank. Froggen is going to get a safe recall to go and shop using this 90 CS. He's 30 above Extra right now. He's actually changed his mind as soon as he sees Morden head to that Wraith and stole it. That's knowing your champion. I didn't even know Lux's Singularity could hit the big Wraith if you cast it like that.
Yeah, really well done. Up in the top lane, Samus and Wicked going toe-to-toe. Ignite is ticking. Samus forced to use Ragnarok there to get out of the taunt and carry on fighting. But this bruiser battle, both champions 200, 300 HP apiece, and it's really going well. Bottom lane, Rocket Grab manages to catch onto Babetta. He eats a Phosphorus Bomb in his face. Now True Shot Barrage lands into Yellow Pete. They're focusing the support, and that's something you cannot do as an AD carry. Look at the damage. Babetta's low, but so is Yellow Pete. And Crepper cannot stay in the fight. If you're focusing Lulu, you're just giving Ezreal all the time he needs to apply his damage, and he applied it to the right target, forcing CLG back. It was a good grab, it was a good position, but Ezreal's keeping up in farm. He's only 7 CS behind. Could Wicked be in trouble now?
X is coming around behind the turret, not even waiting for the creeps to come in. Samex leads the charge. Wicked tries to flash the QW, but he doesn't manage to pull it off, and Exter with a final auto attack executes him under his own turret.
Giants pick up their first kill of the game. That is an Orianna as well. He is falling slowly and slowly, further and further behind, rather, Froggen in the middle lane. The CS difference is fairly noticeable, 30, but look at the gold at the moment. 3,700 in Lux's hands in comparison to 2,900 for Orianna. So it's almost a completed sorcerer shoes between them difference. We'll see exactly how it starts to compare when they get into a fight, but Morden's got to be very careful. Light Binding, Loosened Singularity is down, a couple of auto attacks. If that final spark and ignite had been used, it could potentially have been enough to pick up a kill.
Certainly Froggen, though, not willing to try it just on there, but he's now coming around one side. He's actually going to get found by Exter, takes a big burst of damage to the face in the first place. The ult comes across. Morden's here, will land the bandage on, lands the curse of the Sad Mummy, but here's the ult from Shen. Can they kill him before Wicked arrives? No, because he backs away. Does use that laser, doesn't quite do enough damage to finish Morden off, though. And a nice escape as the Ezreal ult flies straight across the map. It does hit Froggen and just about takes him low. That camera was a bit too fast for me. I apologise.
Just a little too quick, but not too bad, not too bad. Great true shot barrage, and that was a good piece of play from Giants. You know, knowing that they could catch Froggen out, they landed a lot of damage. The problem is they've burnt all those ultimates now, and they're very, very low life. So CLG with an immediate reply going, okay, we lost that engagement, we lost that battle, but we didn't give up a kill, and we'll take a map objective out of it. Is Blitzcrank going to get caught by a Blitzcrank grab? It's a little bit of a tongue twister for you there. No, this time around, Crepper decides not to throw it out. And the first dragon of the game, 12 minutes 30, lands in CLG's hands.
Yeah, I really like that call from there. Like, well, Wicked's down in this half of the map now. Their jungler's got no health whatsoever. Their mid lane took quite a bit of punishment there too. Well, we've got 4 very strong full health champions. Let's just take the dragon. Why not? And it's at 12 minutes, so they now have an exact timer on when it comes in next time round. They do lose top turret for it though. Samax kept that pressure up. It's right there underneath it. Despite Froggen coming in to do his best, could not stop the inevitable.
That's not the end of the world though for Giants, because if it allows Olaf to start roaming and start moving around the map, he can help out the other lanes. Olaf is a very good, ganking champion, hence the reason he's used in the jungle so many times. If he lands his undertows, gets a couple of reckless swings off, he can, turn the tide of these battles. CLG are only 2,000 gold ahead, which is a relatively small number. Half of that is made up in Dragon, the rest of it is made up in CS, and the Giants, they just can't let themselves fall too far behind. And that was exactly what Giants were trying to do in this middle lane. Dissonance went down, applied a slow to Lux, but Olaf was just a bit too far away to close that gap effectively.
All 5 members of Giants now surrounding this blue buff. They really do not want this one stolen. Snoopy is nearby. Froggen's coming across from mid, but he does catch a snare and a Lucent Singularity down onto Samax. Keeps it away, but ultimately Samax has done his job. He kept Froggen off and out of laser range, so Exeter can finally grab himself his first blue.
Yeah, not too bad. Third blue of their side of the map. It has finally been donated over to Orianna. It's definitely going to help in terms of the CS. It's going to help in terms of the spam ability of her own spells in that middle lane. Whether or not it's going to start to show in the CS, it's going to determine the next 5 or 10 minutes of this game. That 30 CS gap is now only 20 CS, and as long as Orianna keeps it even, that gap becomes smaller and smaller and smaller the longer the game goes. I also feel like the utility that's going to be offered by Orianna is going to be somewhat superior to what Lux offers. They're slightly different. You've got a slow on both champions. You've got a snare from Lux, which technically Orianna doesn't have. But rocket grab just barely missing Blit X in the bottom line there. But if Orianna throws that command protect onto an Olaf or an Amumu and then combos it with the shockwave and the curse of the sad mummy, it's going to be more impactful than a single laser that's going to just force Giants to disengage and run away.
Very much so, and especially the synergy here with Creepo. If Froggen lands a long-range binding, whether it be chained off a creep, chained off another champion, if it lands at max range, that person is going to be very, very exposed and open for a brilliant sniped grab here from Creepo. We've seen how spot on he's been already, and he's actually going out to try again. Does grab onto Babetta. Knockup's going to follow it out, but there's a big shield comes out. There's the knockup from Babetta, but Val forward from Yellow P. Goes straight in trying to finish him off. Forces him a flash under the turret, but Blitz takes the exhaust. He's going to take the next brunt of Yellow P's damage. He's low on mana, but he's going to keep spamming out everything he can. Not quite enough though to finish off for the kill.
Yeah, not just at the moment. If Yellow P can get a little bit of mana back and they can combo 1 or 2 of his abilities with the grab onto a creep. Now Crepo's in trouble, eats a Glitterlance, immediately sees that Morden is there, flashes to safety. Morden's trying to get through the creep, but a little bit of blockage from the minions on CLG buys them the time they need to get away, and no bandage toss, no sad mummy curse, and no more kills for Giants.
Samax, he's just gone in, warded the enemy's blue buff, warded CLG's blue, and he's going to take a quick taunt from Wicked, take a little bit of trade damage. With the feint, Wicked just blocked everything he has returned until that reckless swing comes out. So they're still trading very evenly, but Samax, with this extra pressure, is up under the tier 2 turret and has actually taken a slight CS lead.
Let's have a look at the items. We actually haven't touched on them very much this game just yet. Corki obviously going Trinity Force first, Zeal and Phage completed. On the flip side, Phage and Shen completed for Ezreal. Both of our mid laners working towards that Athene's Unholy Grail, but thanks to the kill, the assist, the dragon, etc., Froggen has already picked that item up. But take a look at Shen. Wicked's opted to go for Phage after his Hearts of Gold, so that's a little bit out of the norm. It's a very aggressive Shen.
It's not unheard of to see Shen go complete Trinity Force because of the damage it gives you. And coming from Wicked, to see him go damage, not a surprise whatsoever. Morden does get bound here as he tries to come around one side of Froggen, but I mean, we've seen Shen's go Phage and then build tank, or then build with Shen and attack speed, just to have the possibility of slowing someone once you've taunted in onto a carry, perhaps. We'll see where he goes and where he completes it. Does he get put into a Trinity Force? Does he build something else around it? Or does he go perhaps into a Frozen Mallet?
Oh, look at the damage in the middle lane. Extra gets caught by full combination. Ignite is ticking away and manages to pick up that kill. It was every single ability that Froggen had. Light Binding, Loosen Singularity, Final Spark, and Ignite was just the final tick of damage that took it away. But again, perfect textbook play. Land the skill shot, land the ground-based AoE spell, and then follow it up with the laser.
That's the potential Lux has, especially once you hit that max level and you've got the cooldown reduction we mentioned earlier. She's going to have, every 23 seconds, the possibility of blowing someone up quite like that. And if you get someone squishy, whether it be the mid or whether it be the carry, that's what you've got to be afraid of. He is now making his way towards the bottom lane as Morden is top, but there's pings onto that from CLG, so they know he's there. And now Froggen comes straight through a ward, does actually manage to... hang on.
That looked like it hit.
That looked like it hit.
That looked like it hit, but I think the Arcane Shift was used at just the right time. That momentary difference, half second, is all that changed it. A little sapling gets thrown into the bush, and that sad mummy Amumu forced to back off. Now, Dragon should be spawning within the next 30 or 40 seconds. Wicked does have Stand United available, and you can see that Snoopy is already making his way down to the river. A pink ward has just gone down. A little bit unfortunate there that it immediately deletes the Giants ward. A couple of guys from Season 2 Worlds cheering for the ward kills. I like that, I appreciate that. But I'm anticipating Dragon probably going to be the next engagement if Giants want to contest. They should know roughly when it's available, at least in this time frame. And you can see everybody conglomerating around that map objective.
Snoopy with an Oracles now is going to take out any other wards that get placed here. Even though that one's placed straight on top of the pink again. Morden dodging the right way and avoiding Creeper's grab. Pete's going to go across and actually leave that ward up for a little bit just to taunt Giants. Froggen can add a combo to two of them. Look at that damage! Babetta so low. Morden forced to flash out over the wall too, and that's going to secure the Dragon for CLG. These two cannot join this fight. And so I don't think Giants are going to take it 2v4.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to. The HP is just simply too low. I mean, the damage that Froggen is putting down, Queens and Holy Grail, Sorcerer's Shoes, and a blasting one. Two-shot barrage comes up, but that's way too early, I'm afraid. No vision. It was a blind guess, to say the least, and unfortunately it didn't pay off. I want to see where this blasting one is going to go. I don't think it's going to be an Abyssal Scepter, but Death Cap possibly? I mean, 201, 172 CS. Why wouldn't you be cocky in this position?
Yeah, he has another 1,500 gold sitting in the bank at the moment, so he's going to go back another build a needlessly large rod, or just keep it until he hits the point where he can get a full death cap. We'll see how well his farm goes, what his mana situation, those kind of things are like, or of course what the calls for the team are. If you're going to sit there with a lot of gold in your bank, you're not going to be able to use it. You're not going to have that strength in a fight. So if CLG turn around and say, no, Froggen, go and shop, spend your gold, we need you strong, he's going to go and spend it a bit sooner. So
yeah, that's for sure. Now this is something that I'd like to keep an eye on as well. We can see Samux has just started to recall. That's Olaf. He's got 2,200 gold in his back pocket. So I want to see what he's going to convert this into. Two GP10s that have been ticking for a little while. The Heart of Gold as well as that Philosopher's Stone rather. And you will see, exactly how he decides to spend his money. Olaf needs to get involved in these fights now. The 3v3, the 4v4 engagements in the middle and the bottom line have not been going in favor of Giants. They caught Froggen out once, but they didn't convert it to a kill. They've given up 2 dragons on the back of those engagements, by taking too much damage, by being out of position when they needed to be challenging the dragon. It cost them both of those drakes. So let's see if Olaf, once he spends some money and actually starts to get involved, if he can help Giants turn the tide of this game.
Let's see, is Snoopy going to give this blue buff to Froggen, or is he going to take it? Froggen's coming across, so he's going to take this one. He hasn't been able to steal the last one, and of course Snoopy's had 2 or 3 of them already so far. So waiting for Snoopy to get it low enough, and there's the Loosen Singularity just to take it from the last second. Samux though still in this top lane, still got 2,500 gold in his bank, just waiting to be comfortably farming this whole time. He's got no reason to leave that lane. Wicked hasn't. Wicked's just been sitting there farming. He hasn't used his ult to get out of there. He is now going to taunt in onto Samux, and there's a Fade Frock in actual fact. He's going to keep chasing down this lane. With the use of Key Strike, he's going to get a little bit of bonus damage, but Samux should be out and clear for now.
Yeah, that undertow slow is really powerful, just landing it in the face of Wicked, immediately countering that initiation and preventing him chasing forward. Snoopy, Oracle's Elixir, kills a ward, and as I'm sure you can get, the crowd starts chanting. This is some dedicated LoL fans watching all the different tournaments from around the globe. We can see Samux starting to spend some of that cash. Giant's Belt picked up, as well as completing the Mercury trades, picking up yet more HP. And I think once we see, this HP amassed Olaf in conjunction with the wild growth from Lulu, it's going to be difficult to take that berserking Viking down.
Snoopy's still just roaming around the river using his oracles, trying to take out what wards he finds. There's nothing down here for you this time, though. And we're going to see a little bit of a lull in the game at the moment. Giants aren't strong enough to do anything against CLG, and CLG just don't have anything they want to do. They're happy to sit back and farm. I mean, if any team is going to be good to sit there for 30, 40, 50 minutes and farm. It's going to be CLG, and while the global objectives are down, while the Dragon's there, while they're not going to risk a Baron, they don't need to take these turrets. They're just slowly winning the CS war. They're going to sit back and happily do it. Exeter has closed the gap, in actual fact, between Froggen after I mentioned the winning CS war, but it's there as Snoopy walks across to find the other ward he has in the other river bush.
A little bit of delayed response there, but the crowd are on form. They are noticing it. Starting to fill up really, really nicely behind the Dreamer in the middle lane. Rocket Grab almost catching the back of Exeter, but it did not. Now, Samus, he does get caught up by a life binding. Loosen Singularity pops, and with the Command Protect, it's not quite as much damage, but that's still a good chunk. When you consider that QE combo from Lux, it chunked off, 20% of the Olaf's HP bar with a Command Protect. Oh, look at the damage onto Morden. Final spark goes down. Will Yellow Crepper get in range? Decides not to chase for that rocket grab. But again, the burst damage from Final Spark. What's the cooldown on at the moment? With Athene's and with blue buff on Froggen, his ultimate is on a 24-second cooldown. Every 24 seconds, that damage comes down. Samuk's forced to use Ragnarok up in the top lane to get away from the gank of Maokai and Shen. But, it's not too bad. If you can use the cooldown, save your life, you don't give any more gold away than you need to.
Exeter going to come powering his way through the jungle to hit the top lane where Snoopy and Wicked are pressuring this top Saramex is there on his own trying to defend it. Does manage to
down
do just that.
Blitzex and Yellow Pete are going toe-to-toe. Blitzex tries to duel Yellow Pete, ends up eating so much damage, and a missile barrage in the end costs him his life. Yellow Pete was walking into the bush, face-checking it, just walking up nonchalantly as you do, and unfortunately there just wasn't enough damage there from Ezreal to take that engagement and to take that battle, and that was Flash, Heal, and True Shot Barrage all used, but the Trinity Force, completed Trinity Force, was just too strong.
Creepo and Froggen were pushing the mid lane that entire time. They took that turret down very low, as Pete is now doing in the bottom lane. So CLG have decided, yeah, okay, time to stop farming. We're going to take some objectives. They grab mid, they're grabbing bottom. They're now fighting here. Morden at his Wraith. Snoopy, though, taking a bit more damage than he was anticipating. And as Exeter and Babetta show up, they decide to leave, but not before smiting that Wraith away.
Yeah, they're taking absolutely every advantage that they can. That 2,000 gold lead has now extended to a 6,000 gold lead, and now it's starting to become significant. Now the numbers are starting to see completed items, Trinity Force over non-Trinity Force, Needlessly Large Rod and a Blasting Wand, and Athene's Unholy Grail over just a Blasting, the Needlessly Large Rod. Another ward gets killed, and the crowd erupts in cheers. And right now, Giants, they need to make some plays. They need to make something happen. If they just let CLG farm themselves into this, they're just going to get better and better and better and stronger and stronger and stronger. In terms of scaling, Giants, not too bad though, if you're honest.
Yeah, they're not too bad on scaling. They could sit back and try and get as strong as possible on Olaf, get Morden a bit tanky, because at the moment, the amount of damage he's taking from one combo on Froggen, it's not really what you want to see against your tanky initiator. You're going to see Morden diving in, bandage toss, Sad Mummy, curse the Sad Mummy straight away, and then he dies. That's kind of demoralizing for the rest of your squad, so they want to get him as strong as possible. Creeper tries to steal that blue with a grab, but just grabs a small lizard instead, and Exeter is able to pick it up.
Exeter also working towards his own death cap, but death cap is completed on Froggen. Total ability power, let's have a quick look, 409 AP. Now the Dragon is available. Are we going to see the engagement? Undertow gets caught into Snoopy. That Oracle's Elixir is very, very valuable. Now we see the damage mitigation from Maokai. Shen, Stand United's coming in. This is a huge engagement, 5 versus 5. True Shot Barrage catches 4 members of CLG. The first member to fall is Amumu though, because Giants is simply not protecting, not sticking to the same target. Wicked is the target. Why are you focusing? Shen, get Yellow Pete or Froggen. A Taunt manages to catch Blitzex. He's held in place. He's going to get blown up. That's Ezreal falling. The laser comes across in the background, picks up the third kill of the engagement. CLG are playing this perfectly. Rocket grab, catches onto Babetta, light binding, loosen Singularity, triple kill. Was that double kill for Lux and Froggen?
It's a double kill for Lux on Froggen as he lasered across onto Extra and then picked up a kill onto Babetta. It does open up the Dragon for CLG, but they're not willing to go for it. They said, fine, we're going to have these Death Climbers. We'll push straight up mid. Froggen does grab that tier 2 turret with a little bit of help from Snoopy. And now it looks like he's going to rotate back around to that Dragon. It has given them a 9,000 gold lead, and with the extra 1,000 this Dragon's about to provide, it will hit 10,000.
Yeah, the numbers are just so high, and the engagement there just went a bit poorly for Giants. Yeah, they engaged on Maokai, which is not always the best. You can't really blow a Maokai up. He is fairly tanky. He's got a good amount of HP. Aegis of the Legion, Kindle Gem, parts of gold. It's going to play into his favor. Stand United was used to save him. Then once Shen jumped into the battle, he taunted, I think, 3 or 4 members with that Shadow Dash feint of his. Caught a whole bunch of them, locked them up, and then they stuck on him. And it just allowed Froggen and Yellow Pete all the time that they needed to pick up the damage, pick up the kills, and just clean house without losing anything.
Yeah, and there's the advantage of Shen building damage. Okay, it's only a Phage and a Sunfire at the moment, but whenever he's stuck there in amongst the Giants, he's doing damage to them with that with the Sunfire cape. He can stick to the one target he wants to because of the Phage procs that he was getting, and he does do quite a bit of damage just with his auto attacks and the key strike. So they had to try and get through him, otherwise he'd have just torn them apart from the inside. But the problem is he's too strong. You cannot get through him. So yes, they had to blow a lot on him to do that. They had nothing left for the rest of CLG, and Wicked managed to survive it all anyway. So,
and on the back of that engagement and the Dragon, a Void Staff already completed for Froggen. So if his damage wasn't over 9,000 already, it officially is now. Pickaxe as well as a BF sword in the hands of Yellow Pete. You can see the gold numbers down at the bottom. 9,500, let's call it 9,600 to 7,000 gold. 2,600 difference between them. It is an immense, immense number. And especially on champions like your auto attack, your AD carries, it's huge. Your AP mids, 3,000 gold separates them. Froggen and Extra, the numbers are just huge. A death cap between them.
Crepo, Froggen and Snoopy now roaming up towards the top side of the map. Wicked has swapped it up and is going to start pushing the bottom lane and warding as they go, and of course Snoopy still has that Oracle, so if they get spotted by ward, he will have to take it out. There is one in the back of the Baron pit here for Giants, and there's one here by the Wraith camp, but there's not one in the Snoopy's bush right now. Samix is going to come around and find him, but those are two of the tankiest players in the game, and they're not really going to fight onto each other, but in the process, Pete Froggen have pushed this top lane, and they're going to grab this tier 2 turret. Giants are not in any kind of position to defend it just yet, but they are grouping up. Samik's going to get grabbed in and pulled in by Creepo anyway, but he's not willing to pop Ragnarok just yet. It's not really worth it. But now the rest of Giants have arrived. The turret is still going very low, but the minion wave has run out for CLG, so there's a brief respite. Wicked still split pushing the bottom lane is onto the tier 2 turret down there. The rubble of the tier 2 turret, sorry. Pete took that out earlier. And Giants have opted to sacrifice this top one as well.
Yeah, did you see how much damage Morton took from the single combo from Lux again? Exactly the same thing happened. Light Binding, Lucent Singularity hits, 50% of Amumu's HP is gone. Amumu has got nothing in his bank right now. An Aegis of the Legion, a Heart of Gold, and that's it. That's his defensive statistics and his HP. There's simply not enough there. 107, 108 CS to his name. They've only got one tower, they've got no dragons. There's just not a lot to work with right now as far as the Giants are concerned. And they can't hold off this push. If CLG do decide to invade, or Morden's going to try to commit to a fight, the bandage toss misses. Kepler comes back in, Overdrive is ticking. Can he find a rocket grab? That's the question. He carries on going, decides to hold it. Just baiting the Giants, but he's waiting for that perfect moment and opportunity. So Singularity and Light Binding is down, both of which are dodged and juked away from the Giants players, and the siege is on. CLG are holding the position. They're allowing Wicked to split push on the bottom lane. There we go. Dark Binding pops. Little shield from Lulu, picks up a little bit of damage. And now Olaf playing a little bit aggressive. They need to be careful when they split like this. You know, 3 members top, 1, 2 middle. And Wicked just, again, completely left alone to free farm and push this bottom lane.
He's going to keep it up, and the problem with Giants have here, they have to send Olaf to go and deal with him. X is going to get caught out and burst down so low by Froggen's combo. Now, he's not dead, admittedly, but this gives CLG the opportunity to face tank the turret and come in and take it down anyway. They cannot fight. Giants do not have the damage or the health to fight this, and CLG know it. They're fine, we'll come in, we'll take the turret, we'll face tank it. You can't do anything while we're doing so, so it doesn't matter how much damage we take. But Morden does grab a bandage toss onto Froggen over the wall. Is he going to full initiate as Blitz gets grabbed in by Creeper? Arcane Shift goes away, Curse the Sad Mummy goes down, laser across 3 people. Morden does flash to safety just before he falls. Samix will come to drain it, but Shen is here now. Yellow Pete very low in the middle of the fight, but Lucent Singularity will pick up Blitz over the wall. Samix still chasing out Creeper, has actually forced him to flash away. Snoopy now going in at Extra. Froggen returning to the fight as his cooldowns come back. Picks up a double kill, but Better's in the far side. Samix though still has plenty of health. Froggen's flash forward, can't land the last Light Binding. The Ignite is ticking, does pick up a triple kill. Froggen though, he's going to fall to the turret. Samix is grabbed back by Creeper, and Froggen survives as a final laser, just for a little bit of fireworks.
Yeah, so well played by CLG. Yellow Pete not only survived that entire engagement and that entire pressure, he gets away with his life, comes back into the fight. Triple kill for Froggen. Every single ability is dropped. Every single ability landed. And look at their HP. It's just a little bit of split focus from Giants. You want to feel if they were able to everybody jump on the right target or everybody get on the right person for a second longer, maybe could have killed Yellow Pete, maybe could have killed Froggen. But that's it. CLGEU, they pick up the victory. They take down the Nexus. And they pick up their first victory of Dreamhack Winter.